right, guys, what is up? Welcome to Truth and Transparency. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday.
22. Police and fire. Hi there. My name is Sage, and I was out walking my dog tonight, and I just saw someone inside a car, kind of hiding with their hood over, and maybe I'm just being overly vigilant, but I figured I'd call it in.
Okay.
Like their car lights were off, and they were just kind of, they were sitting on their phone texting or something. But
where was it?
Intersection of D Street and Garfield Street.
Okay. And what's the phone number you're calling me from?
This is my cell phone.
Do you know what kind of car it was?
Yeah, it was a white sedan.
Say what? A white sedan with a guy with a black
You said the male was wearing a hood.
hoodie up?
Yeah, he was a gray colored sweatshirt. He had blonde hair.
He had blonde hair? Ooh.
Yeah.
You hear him walking? He's walking his dog, Sage.
Did you see the license plate?
No, I didn't.
Well, get the fuck back over there.
How long ago did you see the vehicle?
Oh, this was probably 3 minutes ago.
3 minutes ago.
What's your first and last name?
Sage, S-A-G-E. Francetich, F-R-A-N-C-E-T-I-C-H.
Francetich. Do you know who that is? Ah! Welcome to Truth and Transparency. We're going to play it all back from the beginning. Boom. Now it makes sense. Ready? Okay, folks. Do you know who that is? Sage? That's the son. Kane's son. He knew that they were looking for a white sedan. This was a phone call made on November 23rd, 2022. Okay. So Sage calls the police. Okay. He's walking his dog. He sees a white sedan with a guy that's in it texting. He's got his hood up, blonde hair. Okay. Sage knows about the white sedan because Sage helped his dad be able to get all of the stuff that they wanted for the police for Linda Lane footage. Sage did Linda Lane footage for his dad. Sage is so I just thought I would just surprise you guys with like, hey guys, you guys want to hang out today? We got something for you. Welcome, come on in. Okay, here we go. Again, we'll start from the beginning. Those of you guys that are joining us, right there, this is a November 23rd, 2022 call, okay? This is really important because a lot of things happen on November 23rd, 2022. Obviously, this is 10 days after the homicides, okay? Now, Sage knows about the white sedan. Sage is Fran's son. They're the Linda Lane. They're the Linda Laners, okay? So the people that own Linda Lane camera footage is Sage and his daddy, Fran, I believe. What's his dad's name? Kane. I say fucking Fran. Fuck Chilena. So here we go. Just putting all the information that you need in there. So you guys have it. All right. On November 23rd is the day that law enforcement, whoever the person was that was collecting footage, somebody got the footage from Ridge Road, okay, and they supplied it to the FBI guy, okay, and that was the day, November 23rd is a day, okay, hey, this is a Elantra. So on the same day that they determine it's an Elantra, okay, is the same day that this phone call happens.
5:22 p.m. 22 2nd November 23 2022.
Police and fire.
Hi there. My name is Sage, and I was out walking my dog tonight, and I just saw someone inside their car, kind of hiding with their hood over, and maybe I'm just being overly vigilant, but I figured I'd call it in.
Okay.
Like their car lights were off, and they were just kind of, they were sitting on their phone texting or something. But
Where was it?
intersection of D Street and Garfield Street.
Okay. And what's the phone number you're calling me from?
This is my cell phone.
Linda Lane footage owner.
Do you know what kind of car it was?
Yeah, it was a white sedan.
And you said the male was wearing a hood.
Yeah, it was a gray colored sweatshirt. He had blonde hair.
Does he have blonde hair?
Yeah.
Did you see the license plate?
No, I didn't.
Go back and get it.
How long ago did you see the vehicle?
Oh, this was probably 3 minutes ago.
Go back and get it. He called
Your
the
first and last name?
Sage, S-A-G-E. Fransetich, F-R-A-N-C-E-T-I-C-H.
boom.
And would you like a phone call after officers go out that way?
Oh, no need. I figured I'd just call it in since there's kind of a need to be vigilant is all.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you for letting us know.
Hey, sure thing. Thank you.
Bye.
5:24 p.m. 57 2nd November 23 2022.
Okay, now let me ask you guys a question. Nobody's been caught yet, right? November 23rd, 2022. No suspects. Okay. Blonde hair, though, that's exculpatory, right? But wait, this gets better. So you would expect, I mean, this is your white sedan, a guy with a hood up, right? Gray is gray black. I mean, so now you would think, Sage, holy shit, this is the same guy that just gave us Linda Lane footage. Okay. This is the same guy that just supplied us with all this Linda Lane footage. So he supplies us with all this Linda Lane footage. Then now he's calling us to say there's a white sedan with a guy with a hood, blonde hair. And now you would think all units, we just got a phone call about blah, 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 in the corner of this just 3 minutes ago. Maybe if we can disperse in different ways to get over there. A white sedan, right? Hood up, suspicious. And the guy, though, didn't get a plate. I mean, okay. If you're going to call the police like that, you don't get a plate. I think that's kind of weird. If I'm going to go through the trouble to call the cops, I don't have a plate number, though. Right? Again, remember who this is. Sage is Kane's son. This is the guy that turned in the Linda Lane footage. That's the caller. Right? Now, what I would expect to see, and I knew, I was like, oh my God, this is, we need this. This is important. So here's the radio call.
5:24 PM 59 seconds, November 23, 2022.
Oscar unit suspicious. East D. David Street and North Garfield Street. 1726.
Moscow 176.
Go ahead.
Team clears out, no report. UTL.
1736.
5:35 PM 17 seconds, November 20.
Okay. So we're going to actually revise our requests now because I think that there's things that weren't provided. Listen to this again. This is the radio traffic. Okay.
5:24.
This is all they provided was 28 seconds. And what they can do is they can clip it and stuff like that. So 28 seconds worth of radio.
5:24 PM 59 seconds, November 23, 2022.
Oscar unit suspicious. East D. David Street and North Garfield Street. 1726.
Moscow 176.
Go ahead.
Team clears out, no report. UTL.
You can clear us out.
5:30.
No report. You can clear us out. Who's us? I heard 2 numbers. Did you guys hear any other numbers? We're going one more time. One more again.
5:24 PM 59 seconds, November 23, 2022.
Oscar unit suspicious. East D. David Street and North Garfield Street. 1726.
Moscow 176.
Go ahead.
Team clears out, no report. UTL.
1736.
5:35 PM 17 seconds, November 23, 2022.
Okay, now let's go back to the call. And the call was at
5:22 PM 22.
Okay,
seconds,
so
November.
522 is the call that's made by homie Sage. Okay, 5:22 p.m. And then at 5:24 dispatch. Okay, now the call is 2 minutes and 49 seconds.
23, 2022.
Police and fire.
Hi there. My name is Sage, and I was out walking my dog tonight, and I just saw someone inside their car, kind of hiding with their hood over, and maybe I'm just being overly vigilant, but I figured I'd call it in. Like their car lights were off, and they were just kind of, new.
He's literally calling in the description of the vehicle and somebody that's a male in a car with a hood being suspicious. Like that's everything that this case at that point, you'd be like, wait, what? Like you'd be like, okay, like what's going on? Like this is everything that we're looking for. Remember, they were all told to be vigilant. So this is on 11/23. This is right before Thanksgiving. Okay, they have no suspect in custody. Okay, 11/23, 2022. This is the guy that just supplied them with the Linda Lane footage. Him and his dad. Okay, now hold on. I want to tell you who. The same person that chose to not follow Molly and turn around. He's the same person that did this. What I mean by that is when I got the report. Okay. Okay. 20. So she typed it up, had it by 5:23 and 36 seconds. The call though was at 5:22. Then Do you guys want to know how they spelled Sage's name? Okay. You would not be able to find this by Googling or by saying, hey, I want any calls that had to do with Sage. Da da da. They put his name down as Sage Mick Kedich. Mick Kedich. Like Mick Michael. Mick Kedich, like this. Sage is the person that turned in the Linda Lane footage. His dad owns the property there. Sage is really good with IT work. That's his son. Sage is Kane's son. So this is how they put his name in. Now we know that that's just not his name. This isn't his name. His name is, as we all heard him say it. Go back to
5:22 p.m. 22 second November 23.
He didn't change his name.
Police and fire.
Hi there. My name is Sage, and I was out walking my dog tonight, and I just saw someone inside their car, kind of hiding with their hood over, and maybe I'm just being overly vigilant, but I figured I'd call it in.
Okay.
Like their car lights were off, and they were just kind of, they were sitting on their phone texting or something. But
Where was it?
intersection of D Street and Garfield Street.
Okay. And what's the phone number you're calling me from?
This is my cell phone.
Do you know what kind of car it was?
Yeah, it was a white sedan.
And you said the male was wearing a hood.
Yeah, he was a gray colored sweatshirt. He had blonde hair.
Did he have blonde hair?
Yeah.
Did you do the license plate?
No, I didn't.
How long ago did you see the vehicle?
Oh, this was probably 3 minutes ago.
What's your first and last name?
Sage, S-A-G-E. Francetic, F-R-A-N-C-E-T-I-C-H.
How do you fuck that up? He spells it for you.
And would you like a phone call after officers go out that way?
Oh, no need. I figured I just called in.
No need.
First time.
No need. I want to know. No need to call it in. No need to call me back. But anyways, then the Styric guy, B, the officer that responded, is the same person that was in pursuit of Molly, or I'm sorry, not Molly, but the truck. Janelle Styric was the responding officer. Okay, so same as in oh. Okay, so anyways, this guy calls in. He's also the same person that gave the Linda Lane footage to the police. Then 10 days later, he calls this in. Doesn't get a license plate though, but thinks that it's suspicious enough to call the police And why, guys? Because he knows that they're looking for a white sedan. Okay. He wasn't, if it would have been a guy in a car that wasn't a white sedan, he would have never called in. He knew that it was about the white sedan. And then you have a guy with the hoodie up and it looks suspicious. And so he calls it in. Why? That's why I want to know who called this in, because it had to be somebody that would be knowing about a white sedan. Remember, I told you guys this? And so boom, there you go. And it's because it's Sage, the Linda Lane footage guy. But he doesn't, he calls the police enough to say, like, yeah, this is like, something's up here. But then, oh no, you don't have to have the cops call me back or anything like that. I'd want to know if I'm calling in, like, yeah, like, what's up? If I'm going out of my way to call. And the reason that he's calling is because he knows that they're looking for a white sedan. And I believe that he would have heard it through the grapevine, that Bethany or Dylan saying about somebody dressed all in black, hoodie up, mask. So this was on 11/23/2022, and no dash cam was supplied. No body cam was supplied, because they never put it on. They never put on their dash cam, allegedly, supposedly, but we're going to write them back about this. So they never put on their dash cam, and they never put on their body cam in going over that area. They don't find this vehicle. They have no report. I played the radio for you where it says, clear us out. Well, I would like to know who us is, because the only responding officer he says us. So I'm going to write in about that. Who was with him on this? Who went there with him? The only unit to respond was M176. Okay. But I want you guys to listen to this again, because more than one person responds. They're just not on the log. Which makes no sense.
5:24 p.m. 59 seconds, November 23, 2022.
Moscow unit suspicious. East D. David Street and North Garfield Street. 1726.
Moscow 176.
Go ahead.
Include no report, UTL.
1736.
5:35 p.m. 17 seconds.
And that would be unable to locate was put in at 5:36 and 18 seconds. But before that, the call was changed and they were assigned at 5:26 and 9 seconds. And he got to the area, because arrival is 5:34 and 27 seconds. En route was 5:32. So what's interesting, if it was assigned to you at 5:26, Moscow's not big. 5:26, it's assigned. And then en route is, you hit your button for en route at 5:34. So something tells me that you didn't hit it. You must have hit en route. And then at 5:36, you then say to, you're completing it, which is unable to locate. So did you really look hard? Unable to locate? I mean, this is just ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. If this is the type of effort that you fucking put in to locate a white sedan with a male inside, that's sitting in a car, because let me tell you what that means. If you go on that street and you don't see the white sedan there, okay, and there's not one in the driveway and there's not one in the street, where the fuck's the white sedan? Wouldn't you? I mean, you're trying to find a killer here, and that's the vehicle that you're looking for. You have to tell me that these cops knew about this white sedan, because on 11/25 is when they put on the be on the lookout for the white sedan. So they made no efforts to try to, first of all, it was assigned to you at 5:26. Why are you now just en route at 5:32? I mean, that's 6 minutes. I'm just curious of what the cop was doing from 5:26 to 5:32, unless he's going to say that I didn't just hit my button and then when I got into the area. So then you just looked around for 1 minute and 50 seconds before you said unable to locate. Fucking awesome. Awesome job. Fucking amazing. You guys rock. Absolutely ridiculous. You looked for 1 minute and 50 seconds when there is a nationwide motherfucking manhunt. I mean, this is the type of shit that Ann Taylor is going to be able to use. I mean, this is the shit that you use to show that what the hell are you doing? You're not investigating anything. And then you don't turn on, and we're going to talk about, actually, I want to talk about the dash cam. What I'm going to do next here is I want to talk about Officer Payne's dash cam the night that he pulls over Molly. You guys, why did he turn on his dash cam before he went and like did anything, unless something was called into him? When something is called into you, then you can go, okay, I'm going to turn on my dash cam. Okay. Officer Payne turns on his dash cam way before ever seeing Molly's padiddle. Okay. So again, this is 11/23/2022, 10 days after the murder. Okay. You get a phone call from the same guy that just handed over to you Linda Lane footage. They are the owners of the footage. And I knew that this had to be a related, somebody that called in knew something, that they were calling in about a white sedan and that suspicious, and they had a note, and lo and behold, here it is. It's the guy that turned over the Linda Lane camera footage. Him and his dad, Sage and Kane. He calls this in, doesn't get a license plate, tells the police, don't worry about calling me back. And then the police think that, okay, let's go and look for this suspicious man with a hood up in a white sedan for 1 minute and 50 seconds. And he says, you can clear like us out. Play it one more time for you guys to hear that. I think it's just really important because there's no us.
5:24 p.m. 59 seconds, November 23, 2022.
Moscow unit suspicious. East D. David Street and North Garfield Street.
176.
1726.
Moscow 176.
Go ahead.
Includes no report, UTL.
1736.
5:35.
You can clear this out. You can clear this out. Unable to locate is what that means. Just so you know, UTL is unable to locate. Unable to locate. You didn't even fucking, you just arrived, man. Unable to locate. And then if you listen to where Sage is on the phone, you can hear the crunching of him walking. And so he's actually walking on not pavement. He's actually walking on gravel. You can hear that in the call. And so I went and looked in the back area and did the cameras all with the Google stuff. And I want us to take a look in the area of, I want to see if there is gravel in the area of 1132 E Street. I want to see if there's gravel there. So let's take a look. 1132 gravel, or Jesus, E Street. This is right in the corner of where Garfield is. That's where Molly McMichael lived. Okay. All right, the same person that lives over in that area has a family member that lives in the 600 block of Indian Hills Drive. Just throwing that out there, which is the same area where that other camera was located. And if you look on, if you go to Google Maps, type that in and see, you know, they have the back alleys. So you can see, you want to look around, and he was walking on gravel. Also possibly through leaves, but in November, I mean, would there really be leaves at that time? It sounded like it was gravel. So I'm just curious where he was at when he made the phone call. And I'm curious if they did a trace locate on that. But all I can tell you is they looked for 1 minute and 50 seconds. This person looked. This B Steric, and it's the same person, the Steric guy, that decided to not pursue Janelle. Now, if you go on the corner, oh, that's not right. Of I'm gonna pull up one other thing. Okay. He was at the corner. I will say this. There is a huge ass tree that's right there on the corner of Garfield and E. So if he was walking through this huge, like these leaves, that would make sense if he was on the corner of Garfield and E. I found Molly's Subaru, by the way, on Garfield. And guess what is on the corner of E and Garfield? You guys ready? Molly McMichael's Forester. You guys want me to show you? You guys believe me? Okay. So, again, you can't make this shit up. I wanted to bring you guys along for the ride so you guys can see. But I'll bring it up here in Google. Snap your fingers. Okay. And so if you go to Google Maps, Google Maps, thank you. I'll share my screen here in a second. I'll just pull it up and you type in oh, right there. There. All right, let me share with you guys. Okay. I can't make this up. Ready? Ding, ding, ding. What do you got? Baby, come back. You can make it. See Garfield? Okay. That's that big tree I was talking about, but this house on the corner right here, Garfield. And how do I know it's her car? Because you guys see up over here on the car, you can see, look at this shithole over here. If that isn't a perv van, I don't know what is, but did I share the screen? Did it share? Okay, let me make it bigger. Okay. Subaru. Just totally a perv van. I mean, how many Subarus can you have over here? How many Subarus can you have over here? So I went back and just checked everything for myself, but I was like, you know what? No, we're gonna just do this live. Okay. Subaru there. Subaru. It's just a Subaru town. Subaru. You get a van. It's in that parked over there. Again, this is just 3 years ago on here, but this house is just really interesting. And then whatever this house is, like all this stuff behind it. So I want to go this way some more. Okay, so I'm going to keep going over here though. Anyways, go check it out. Go check it out. You guys can go check it out yourselves. So you would think like, oh, nobody can, like, I just walked past it 3 minutes ago. I called the police. I don't have a plate. And you guys can clearly see there's not, this is a heavy traffic area or something like that. This is, I'm just like, wow, like, sweet. It's not Molly. Okay. I don't know if it's Molly's Subaru, but literally right there in the corner, there are 2 Subarus right there. Okay. It's a Subaru family over there. But I was looking at the house. I'm like, wow, if that isn't just the interesting spot. End of the day, this guy claims to have seen a white sedan with a male in it with blonde hair who has his hood up looking suspicious, and he thought he would call into the police. And I'm like, why would this guy do that? Oh, because it's Sage. And because he knows that they're looking for a white sedan. And so he called it in. But he's not clearly scared or wants any information, so don't worry about calling me back. And this officer goes over to the area and does a little drive. God, this whole there's another Subaru if you go down the street a little bit more. I would just think that they would be making some efforts to locate this white sedan. No? Let's see what else we find on this lovely street. Good old Garfield in E Street. There's a white truck. We'll turn around here. See what this white truck looks like. Again, this is, I think, from 3 years ago. If we turn around, keep turning, keep shining. I have to go up, up. I'm gonna have to go back further. I go back further. Okay, here we go. Okay, right there. See how when you go back, see right there, that white truck? When you go back along the street more and then you turn around to look at the camera view, see this white truck over here? I just can't believe that this guy did. I mean, Sage calls it in. He saw a white sedan on this street on the corner of this and E and thought to himself, I need to call the police just to let them know. I mean, can you imagine if everybody was calling the police that they saw people in cars with. And it just so happens to be on the same street that the DoorDash driver. Now, I don't know if she lived there at the time. I mean, look at this. I guess Subarus are really popular, by the way, in Idaho. I was asking some people about that I know that live there. And I guess now here's, see how it says E, oopsies. Turn back around. Did I go too far? See these apartments on the left? Make sure. Okay, sharing it. Okay, watch. Ooh. Right here is where a pretty big bust went down. Now landed in the trailer park. No, this isn't the trailer park. Yeah. This is at Molly's husband's house. This is where the big drug bust went down. This is what I'm bringing you guys this coming weekend. Not this coming weekend, but next weekend on Friday. 132. This is right where, the white Elantra was coming back up from Indian Hills. Give a shout out here. Somebody hit me up through PayPal. Wendy, thank you so much. Fuck around and find out Friday. Cheers. Thank you, Wendy. Miss Potts, thank you so much. Look at you starting the train over here. Boom, that's 20. What are these new names? I don't even know what names these are on YouTube. True will always prevail. Green banana, thank you. Green banana. I mean, is this like a new look of YouTube? Are they trying something new? Nelly, thank you for always fighting for true justice. Inquisiting minds want to know how you would only look for a white sedan that's matching the description of the suspect vehicle. And it's being called in by the Linda Lane guy that provided you, so he knows what he's looking for because he had the footage. And these people don't put two and two together. And they think, like, let's just go look for this car for 1 minute and some change. You got to be out of your fucking mind. While there's a supposed killer on the loose. Unbelievable. Thank you so much, Mick. $10 on Cash App. Thank you. Tanda, $25 on Cash App. Thank you so much. Woo, yeah, cheers. Yeah, I mean, you guys, these names that I'm looking at over here. What's up, Jen? Good to see you in chat, love. Hope you're doing well. You have to edit your handle on your channel. They're always changing the rules over here. This one's dumb. So let's go take a look. I wanted to show you guys the Officer Payne's body dash cam for a second. I think something's interesting with that. I'm curious as to why he put on his dash cam before ever seeing Molly. Oopsies. Okay, yes. Here we go. All right, so check this out. This is the beginning. And so Payne's just driving along with his dash cam on. And he just thinks to himself, okay, well, there's no sound yet. So I'm curious if something was called in. I'm curious why he had his dash cam on. He does not see Molly yet. He doesn't see a padiddle. Okay. Just driving along in my automobile. Heather, thank you so much. $40. You rock. Much love. Heather from PA, baby. Right there. Right there. Okay, now watch. Like, he was looking for her. You guys, check this out. Watch. Boom, flips the Yui. Had his dash cam on. Notice how they're not playing any radio. So they need to write back in and say, why did they redact? So let me just tell you what this means. There's definitely sound. They redacted all of the sound. When he turns on his dash cam, so my question would be is why is all the sound being redacted? And so, you can write them in and say, hey, not sure if there was can I have a reason as to why the dash cam has no sound? Like he didn't have his body cam on. So he only had his dash cam on. there's no radio noise. And if anyone's going to tell you that they don't have sound, that's full of shit, because I have dash cam that has sound. So anybody's going to tell you that those cameras don't record sound, they're fucking lying. I'll play you the videos. But Payne turns on his dash cam way before. And it's like when they do that, it's like they got a call. You got a call, so you're going to initiate your, it wasn't like he was just driving along and I happen to see that. And then so I'm going to, pull them over myself. It seems like he got a call. And to be like looking for this vehicle that only has one headlight on. Very strange, if you ask me. Somebody called in a padiddle. Boom. And then do you see how right there, then the radio comes on? That whole time, we should have heard the radio. And so whatever he was talking about was redacted. And it's really, really important. If they're taking it out, it's important. Because it would tell you why he ever pursued pulling her over in the first place.
Network 2980, 6th and line.
See how it has a dent over there on the right? Is that a dent on the right hand side of that car? Anyways, this whole thing could have had the radio on, and it doesn't. He decides to turn on his dash cam though right here because he's initiating. He got a call. Somebody called him. Somebody radioed this in and said, X, Y, and Z. There's no reason that's why his dash cam's on. So I would see what incident was right before this. What time of night was this at? Can audio be turned off on the cam? I think that it would be a simple question is to ask, did the officer do this, or did you guys redact the audio up until a certain point? There has to be phone calls before this. Sorry, but there has to be. So this was on what day? 6/18. Who's big old Payne on the phone with? Hey, you really want me to pull this person over? Okay. Yep. I do. I want you to issue them a ticket. So they have to come and see me. Molly will come see me then. What? Yep. Pull her over, issue her a ticket. She'll come and see me then. Molly will come and see me then. Molly will Come and see Big Bad Bill.
Idaho4 Lincoln Edward 2980 6th and line.
There's way more to this than what meets the eye. You don't fucking put a dash cam on. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna be fucking seeing a fiddle here in about 2 minutes. Let me just put my dash cam on. Nope, sorry. She was just pulled over a week before that. Jen, making people go alien. Thank you, Jen. Miss Potts 777 says the word for what he is doing is called recon. No, I think that they. I mean, clearly he wasn't. He didn't say anything to her like, "Oh, you look like you're fucked up. Get out of the car. Let me just, No, this was issue her a ticket. She'll come and see me, and then I can talk to her. Very bizarre.
Moscow 1751 to run. Last name Willard, William, Ida, Lincoln, Lincoln, Adam, Robert, David, first of Russell, Robert, Union, Sam, Edward, Lincoln, Lincoln, middle initial L, Lincoln, date of birth 1950, male, Iowa, and try Idaho as well. 2127.
William Russell.
Moscow 157, code 4 will be busy issue.
Code 4. What's code 4? What's code 4, y'all? Take a look.
175, your return.
Starting sync process.
175.
No return through Idaho, through Iowa, ID only.
ID only.
Copy, thank you.
2128.
Code Corp scanner detected.
Thank you there. Code 4 means all good, no assistance needed.
This
All right, so why would he be calling that in like that? The first thing he does when he gets back to his car, code 4, no assistance needed. Making it all seem legit. Let me just make sure I give her a ticket. This was the only thing that also didn't make sense to me. Okay. Isn't this vehicle's registration messed up? Isn't this vehicle's registration messed up? So, what I mean by that is he lets her continue to drive, you know, without insurance. And then she gets, but right now doesn't that vehicle have no registration? Not just it doesn't have insurance, but isn't it not there's no registration? That car beeping is giving me, you know. Okay. Correct. Right now her tags are suspended. Does he even tell her this though?
Moscow 175. Go ahead. You can close it, no report. I'm going to stay in the area just to make sure you leave. 2136.
Hold on 1 second. We're gonna change this up for a second. Let's see. All right, this is the I mean, this bitch just can't get Okay, look at the difference. Okay, wait, check this out. Why is she pulling over? He doesn't even have his lights on yet. Okay, watch. They would be like on her car, like you would be able to see like the lights, like the red and blue. Is this an unmarked car? Okay, now watch Payne. Now watch Payne's pullover. Now watch Payne's pullover. You can see the light. They light up. Okay. Let's go back to when he decides the Yui. Okay. Okay. Okay, now Payne. See off to the corner, you can see like the lights. See all the lights and the trees? See how you... Back up. See? Okay. Now we go back to her situation in okay. In her situation in Washington. Okay. In her situation in Washington. On airport. Look how dark it is. And then check this out. There is no lights. See off to the left, you said spotlight. What the fuck? Oh, wait, now are there lights on? Did she shut off her car?
1 Lincoln Edwards 2980 through Idaho. We're going to be Airport Road, just a little ways off of Terraview.
Wait a second.
1 Lincoln Edwards 2980 through Idaho. We're going to be Airport Road, just a little ways off of Terraview.
Ah. So there's no radio. He just called in a plate and they didn't report back. Now maybe he's using the radio that's up on him. Like on his person.
Paging Pullman ambulance for assault, 1165 South Grand, number 87.
What was that?
Paging Pullman ambulance for assault, 1165 South Grand, number 87. Paging Pullman ambulance for assault, 1165 South Grand, number 87.
South Grand.
Pullman ambulance for assault, 1165 South Grand Avenue, number 87. Pullman ambulance for assault, 1165 South Grand, number 87. Time now 2312.
So these two are just gonna sit in a car.
467, code 4, driver.
Code 4.
Last of McMichael, Mary Charles Mary, Ida Charles Henry.
Wait a
Adam
second.
Edward Lincoln, 4, driver. Last of McMichael, Mary Charles Mary, Ida Charles Henry, Adam Edward Lincoln. First of Molly, Mary Ocean Lincoln Lincoln Young. Middle M Mary. Date of birth 122980. Female, through Idaho.
County units are reported gunshot sounds in the area of 304 North 5th Street, Farmington. All 14, we have a single report of around 6 or so gunshots. The ARP did not have any other information other than it just sounded like 6 gunshots.
Gunshot? The fuck?
Go ahead. I'll be 1019 for the ATO. 2313. Is their name and phone number?
RP first of Kelly, phone number 509-287-2628.
Copy.
However you guys do what's going.
We're just getting into Oakdale.
Anytime on that return.
Yeah, exactly.
I can run Idaho's on.
Quick comment, 1031.
Go ahead.
Engine 31 being route 1165 for a false.
Your turn.
Go ahead.
Through Idaho, she's valid. Expires 2022. Vehicle returns to a 2012 silver Subaru Forester. Suspended for no insurance.
Reese, you can start my case.
2316.
ID's valid.
Alright, I'm gonna type that up now.
Start me a case, baby. Start me a case of Bud Light.
Moscow driver, can I cite and release?
Moscow driver site release.
Copy. So we have a policy, if you don't live in Washington, you have to bond out of our station to make sure you show up to court. But we're trying to...
Boom.
kind of
Boom.
fix that.
Okay, I wasn't going to fucking say anything yet. You guys, holy ball sack. Ready for this? Go back to the beginning when this guy gets out. I was going to say, like, who is it? So clearly this is like a cadet. Okay.
1 Lincoln Edward.
You see that? Comes out, boom.
There's some of these newer Idaho ones that don't scan for whatever reason. Oh, that's right. There's some of these newer Idaho...
All right, where's the let's go back to the guy on the right is. All right, we're gonna stop that for 1 second. And I think all right, let's go to I want to see inside when she's dealing with okay, this is Washington. All right.
One Lincoln Edward, 2 9. Just a little ways off of...
Wait.
Hello. My name's Officer Westman. Stop is being recorded. How come you weren't pulling over?
I was trying to find a safe spot.
So,
I knew there was a pullover up here. I just
Yeah.
couldn't find it.
I understand that rationale, but I'm going to give you another one too. So legally, you have to come to a stop immediately on the right side of the road.
Oh,
Reason
okay.
being, say I was going to an emergency call, and you thought I was pulling you over. I've been stuck behind you this whole time, delaying my response. It happens quite often when we go to emergency calls. I understand trying to find a spot, but there's plenty of safe places, and if we stop on the road, other cars have to slow down so they don't run us over.
Yeah,
I see every
figured
driver's
You were
license.
pulling me over because my headlight. I got pulled
Yeah.
over in Moscow. I
Oh,
got
gotcha.
a ticket. So yeah,
All right.
I'm doing DoorDash. So
Fair enough.
Get it finished.
Do you have your registration insurance for your car?
I have my registration. I do not have a current proof of insurance, which is what I got the ticket for. So
Gotcha.
I got it.
How long ago was that ticket?
A half an hour ago, maybe
Oh,
an
wow.
hour. Yeah. I gotta fix it tomorrow. I just haven't. Yeah. I
Just-
have an old I have an old one, and then yeah, I have the ticket I just got.
Okay.
If that, yeah,
Sure. Can I see that? Really big.
yeah, of course, whatever you would like.
What a prick. What an absolute prick. Like, she just got a ticket. And it's how long ago? And so she's like, she's clearly in her car, and Officer Payne did not say, you need to get home, you need to not be driving. Okay.
Yeah, just at 9:30.
Yeah. I was just on
Did they
my way
put-
here to pick up a dash, and yeah. So, and he just said take care of it
Sure.
tomorrow. You know.
That's a lot cheaper in Idaho.
Yeah.
So our ticket in Washington is $550.
Yeah.
It's real expensive. So I try not to write it when I don't have to.
Yeah.
So I'll take
That's why I
that
figured
one.
I'd show you everything, cause yeah.
All right. Garfield Street, still a good address?
Yep.
All right, let me just check on your ID and I'll get you out of here.
Okay.
He's giving her.
DoorDash bag.
Wait. What did this guy say?
They said they were doing DoorDash. Hope they're on an order right now.
Well, they clearly
There
are.
might have been something in the DoorDash bag. Alright, display. Okay.
She
so
just
this
told
was
you that she was in the middle of going to get.
print. Should give me a different print viewer. Advanced. This isn't what I want. It's like good enough. The edges.
Does he? I want to know if he gives her.
Did the officer in Moscow talk to you about your vehicle registration?
Yeah.
What did he have to say about it?
I told him that I knew that it had said that it was frozen up. That I need to call and take care of it and get it all dealt with.
So
So
every state has different laws. A lot of the laws are similar, but a lot of times the penalties can be different.
okay.
In my understanding, in Idaho, it's not a criminal offense to drive with a suspended registration, at least on your first offense.
Okay.
Washington law is unfortunately different, and it's criminal to drive a vehicle with a suspended registration. It would be like driving with a suspended driver's license.
Okay.
So I did have to prepare a citation for driving a suspended vehicle. It's a
Okay.
misdemeanor in Washington, so it means you have a court date. Okay. So
Okay.
I'll explain it. I'd recommend just calling them, getting it taken care of, because it sounds like all you gotta do is turn in your insurance card,
Yeah, that's
and
it.
then they'll unsuspend it.
Yeah.
And so do that, take it in
That's
court,
why
and
the Moscow
and maybe
officer
they'll
said
drop
I
it.
could just go because he said
Yeah.
that. Yeah. I just
and so
needed to see it,
unfortunately, because it's different states, there's different penalties, and that's kind of where we're at. So I wasn't planning on writing any tickets. I didn't write any tickets for the headline or anything like that, but I do have to do this one.
Then why did
So,
you pull her
top
over?
information is yours.
Okay, if you didn't plan on writing her any tickets, then why did you pull her over? I'm so confused. Like, were you just bored? I wasn't planning on writing you any tickets. Then why the fuck did you pull me over in the first place? For what purpose? And I'm taking a look at her phone, just that's what I'm looking at. And like before it was lit up when with Officer Payne, you could see that it was like showing like it looked like GPS, you know what I mean? Here I can't see that. You know, I know she probably like canceled that fucking shit. It was like, dude, talk about going out and door dashing. You're supposed to go out there to make money, okay? And now you just got hit with a $130 ticket. And then you just got hit with I don't know how much is this.
Your
Let's see.
vehicle information. This is the charge, driving with a suspended registration. It's a misdemeanor in Washington. It's the lowest crime in Washington. On the right side, there's 3 ways how to explain some of the crimes. Essentially what it says, in the next 15 days, they'll be mailing you a packet of papers to your address here. If they, if you don't get it within about 2 weeks, give the court a call. Their phone number, website, mailing address is right here. Because if they had signed you a court date and you didn't show up, there'd be a warrant for your arrest. Okay? So, yeah, my best advice to you is go turn in your insurance, get the license all cleared
No
up,
shit.
and then tell the court about it, and they're usually pretty reasonable.
Okay.
I will caution you, though, about driving in Washington, because our penalty is so much more. If you're pulled over again with a suspended registration, the next officer could impound your car.
Okay.
Okay?
I wish the first officer had told me this.
I wish that too, and that's the crappy thing of us living right on a border is
Well, no,
is
I
a lot
got
of
pulled over in Pullman. That's how I knew it was suspended in the first place. And he never told me about any of this. He just said, fix it
sure.
this week when you get it. And so, yeah, when the cop pulled me over in Moscow tonight, I was like, yeah, I know it's suspended. And
Yeah.
I am dealing with it this week. I've been
Yeah.
waiting. They pulled me over in Pullman. And he didn't tell me anything about this.
Which one? The Pullman officer?
The Pullman
Yeah,
officer.
exactly.
How long ago
Yeah.
was that? Do you remember?
It was just, I think it was Friday.
Friday.
Just when I was running. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I've been running all weekend, or all week,
Yeah.
back and forth, and yeah. I
It's
just
still a
found
newer
out.
thing because Idaho's only been doing this turn in your insurance stuff for just about a year and a half now.
Yeah, Molly, I'm right with you. Why didn't that fucking asshole in Pullman tell me this shit? Okay. And also, so that guy in Pullman didn't give her a ticket. So she got pulled over 3 times in fucking 5 days. That's some really good luck right there, man. Go play the lottery. They're gonna pick your number, man. I'm so confused why the fuck you stopped me if you weren't planning on giving me any tickets. What were we gonna do? I was just planning on giving you a warning, but I didn't realize what. Why couldn't you still give me a warning? You don't have to ticket me. I mean, that guy didn't fucking ticket me. Why are you ticketing me? If you didn't plan on ticketing me, why the fuck are you now? How about that? Can we start there? I just have some questions for you, officer. Before I just take it royally up the ass, I'm just curious. You just told me that you weren't going to give me a ticket. I'm confused why you pulled me over in the first place. But then what changed your mind as to why you were going to give me a ticket? Is it my dog? I need to know. Did you see the Chihuahua or whatever it is? Is it this fucking grubby, nasty motherfucker who's pimping me? I mean, what?
Yeah, no,
It
it
was
was new.
new thing, so we're all getting accustomed to it. But all right, well,
Oh, look
sorry
here.
that you're
Okay,
going
so the only lights that are flashing there are the white ones. The blue ones are just stationary. So take a look at that.
through it, but hopefully you can get it squared away.
Thank you.
All right. Have a safe night, guys. Be careful driving back out of here.
How does Molly know there's a pull off that's like in the middle of the grass like that? How does she even know that? Okay. Why are you giving me a ticket? You said you weren't going to give me a ticket. Now you're going to give me a ticket. Why are you giving me a ticket? And then look at this chooch right there. Jimmy.
States there's different penalties, and that's kind of where
Look
we're
at the dog.
I wasn't planning on writing any tickets. I didn't write any tickets for the headline or anything like that.
I wasn't planning on writing tickets. Why are you writing me a ticket then? What are you talking about? You weren't planning on writing me a ticket. I was just going to pull you over to tell you, hey, I was going to let you know, did you know that your lights were out? So we all play dumb then when a cop pulls us over? You know, I have no idea why you pulled me over. Oh, really? My light's out? No way. Oh my God. Can I get out of the car and take a look at that? Oh, this bastard. I let my husband take my vehicle out. It's always something when that asshole drives this.
You have to do this one. So top information is yours.
Do you hear that? I do have to do this one. No, clearly you don't, because the other guy in Pullman didn't. So he's lying to her. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to ticket her. And he's trying to say, I have to because it's criminal? Jaywalking.
That's kind of where we're at. So I wasn't planning on writing any tickets. I didn't write any tickets for the headline or anything like that, but I do have to do this one. So top information is yours. Has your vehicle
I would have said you had to. Interesting. The other thing that I call bullshit on this is like, you weren't planning on writing me any tickets, but yet you activated your body cam and your dash cam. Right? I would think that you thought shit was, why'd you pull me over? Why are you pulling me over then? If you didn't plan on doing anything. Oh, because normally people that are padiddles, there's a good chance that you're just you're just a lazy shitbag that clearly doesn't fix your tail light, your headlight. And then chances are you probably don't have, proper registration and all that other shit because you're just lazy. So yeah, I wasn't planning on doing anything. Lana, yes, he does. Her tags are suspended. You don't have to ticket somebody because of that. Trust. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. But right on, Corey. Nobody has to do anything. Just like people drop charges against somebody. Okay? But why are you dropping that charge? Why aren't you leaving it? Because you have to charge me with that, right? No, I could drop charges. People can do whatever the fuck they want. This isn't complicated. He should have towed her. Why? Why did he pull her over in the first place? How do you get pulled over literally 30 minutes after you just got pulled over? It's very strange to me. It's very bad luck. That's fucking horrible luck. Why would you DoorDash for money when it's cost when you just got a ticket? I'd be like, fuck this, man. I'm not going out and continuing to DoorDash and make pennies compared to what this ticket cost me. Jimmy, what the fuck? We're going home. We live in Moscow. We're going to cancel this DoorDash order and we're going home. I'll get the car fixed in the morning, right? We have to get this. I'm going to continue to get pulled over. I'm clearly an issue. Headlight, no license, no plate. Dude. Meanwhile, somebody calls in talking about, hey, there's a suspicious sedan, white sedan with a guy, blonde hair with a hoodie up. He looks suspicious. It's on this street. You know, it's 10 days after the murder when I just supplied you guys with a white sedan that you guys were looking for. And rumor has it that this guy was in a car with a hoodie. We'll look for an hour and 30. Awesome. Bye, Corey. Corey always wants to argue. Corey, you don't have to do shit. Corey, you don't have to do anything. If I'm speeding and you pull me over, do you have to give me a ticket? No, I don't have to give you a ticket. I give you a warning. Seeing that she just got ticketed 30 minutes beforehand, yeah, I'm trying to get back. How do you want me to get back home or wherever I'm going? This bitch says I'm continuing to DoorDash like a fucking idiot. Yeah, I was just continuing to DoorDash. on my suspended license or tags now because I don't have insurance. Or she's just over here like, well, I can just rack up all these tickets because Bill Thompson's gonna take care of it. I don't know. I got Bill Thompson and I got Chief Jenkins over here. I'm golden. Okay, Corey. Sounds good. It's the law. It's the law, Corey. Yeah. It's the law, damn it. Let's just call Washington and ask them if they have to. Or can you give somebody a warning like they did, like the Pullman officer did earlier? Do you have to ticket me? Some guy gave me a warning, another guy ticketed me. Should I be reporting the guy that gave me the warning? Did he do something wrong? I have a guy, I'm a YouTube creator, and I have a guy in my chat telling me that he had to give him a ticket. So I'm just curious. So what do you guys do to the guy that didn't give him the ticket? Do they get like, reprimanded for that? Do they get written up? How does that work? Clearly you don't have to, Corey. The guy in Pullman a week earlier didn't give her a ticket. You don't have to do anything. Keyword there, have to. Is it the law? Sure. So is speeding. How many of y'all motherfuckers got out of a speeding ticket before? Why? Well, because that asshole didn't have to write you a ticket. He could have given you a warning. Clearly the Pullman guy before that gave her a warning. We'll just call up the Pullman Police Department and ask them. I'm gonna say I'm over here arguing with my ex-boyfriend Corey, and we got some questions for you. That's the warning. Fix it or don't drive until you do. Caught again in the trouble ticket. But he had no idea that she was pulled over for a warning. I mean, that guy had no idea that she was pulled over. So I'm interested to find the incident where she was pulled over but not ticketed. Let's see if that's on dash cam and body cam. Probably not. She didn't have insurance before, you guys. You're not getting the point.
Pullman Police.
Hi, I have a question for you. This is not emergency, right? Okay. So me and my ex-boyfriend were arguing about if he's driving and he does not have insurance and he's driving in Washington, because we go back and forth from Moscow to Pullman all the time. Will he get, if he gets pulled over, is that a crime, right?
I actually can't answer that. I'm not an officer.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I have to talk to one of your officers?
Most likely, yeah.
Okay. Well, then will you just humor me and I'll just tell my ex that I was right?
Yeah, I mean, I can't stop you from doing that.
All right. That sounds perfect. We'll go with that.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, hon.
Okay.
Have a good
Bye.
one. See, exactly. She feels me. Lana, I watched the live the other night and said you wanted to start a GoFundMe for Holly. Do you still feel that way? I think everybody should have the right to have an attorney. But clearly she has the best lawyer in town, Bill Thompson, so she's all good. She has an attorney. Bill Thompson is her attorney. I can't believe. Hey, Jimmy, how many more times can we get pulled over? You want me to continue on this path? Can we go home yet, Jimmy? How many times do you want me to get pulled over, Jimmy? Fuck, man. I want to call Molly. Molly, what's going on, girl? What's up? Like, we got so many questions. We got so many questions to ask you. Girl, what is going on? I think you have a tracker in your car, girl. I just want to let you know that I think you have a tracker. Oh, shit. Lana, do you think you can call my police department in town and get them to take my warrants off the books? Sure, we can call. That's probably not a good idea. They're probably going to come looking for you then. They probably forgot about it. Just roll with it. Yeah, if you guys just joined us and missed earlier, because like me, if you just joined in whenever you popped in, I started off by playing on November 23rd, 2022, so 10 days after the murders. Sage, who's the son of Kane, who turned in the Linda Lane camera footage. Sage is an IT guy. He calls the police department 10 days after that to report this phone call.
5:22 p.m. 22 seconds, November 23, 2022.
Police and fire.
Hi there. My name is Sage, and I was out walking my dog tonight, and I just saw someone inside their car, kind of hiding with their hood over, and maybe I'm just being overly vigilant, but I figured I'd call it in.
Okay.
Like their car lights were off, and they were just kind of, they were sitting on their phone texting or something. But
Where was it?
intersection of D Street and Garfield Street.
Okay. And what's the phone number you're calling me from?
This is my cell phone.
Do you know what kind of car it was?
Yeah, it was a white sedan.
Was it? Is that right? Is that right? Is that right? And Taylor, you got this, girl? Come on.
And you said the male was wearing a hood.
Yeah, he's a gray colored sweatshirt. He had blonde hair.
Blondie.
Does he have blonde hair?
Yeah.
You guys hear that crunching? Dude, that's total gravel.
Did you see the license plate?
No, I didn't.
How long ago did you see the vehicle?
Oh, this was probably 3 minutes ago.
What's your first and last name?
Sage, S-A-G-E. Fransetich, F-R-A-N-C-E-T-I-C-H.
What's up, Twiz?
And would you like a phone call after officers go out that way?
Ice or snow?
No need. I figured I just called in since there's kind of a need to be vigilant is all.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you for letting us know.
Hey, sure thing. Thank you.
Bye.
5:24 p.m. 57 seconds. November.
Yeah. They went over and checked that area for 1 minute and 49 seconds. They checked that area 1 minute and 49 seconds. And meanwhile, there's a killer on the loose. So 1 minute, 49 seconds is how long they searched. Based on the reporting. Yep. Stellar job. And somebody just fucking killed 4 students. And you got a description. This is what you're looking for. You wouldn't send, all units get over to, no, we're going to send Steric, who has a shifting problem with his vehicle. And he's going to go search for 1 minute and 49 seconds, 48 seconds. Maybe not even that long. Maybe you think he really got out of his car. You think he drove around? So I don't think he did anything like that. I just disagree. I don't think he did anything. And this is the guy that gave the law enforcement the Linda Lane footage. And woo! Bill Thompson. This is the radio in. They did nothing. They did absolutely nothing. No dash cam, no body cam. But we're gonna make them double check that.
5:24 p.m. 59 seconds. November 23, 2022.
Moscow unit suspicious. East D. David Street and North Garfield Street. 1726.
Moscow 176.
Go ahead.
You can clear this out, no report, UTL.
1736.
You can clear this out.
5:35
No
p.m.,
report.
17 seconds. November 23, 2022.
I think I've said it 17 times. I'll make sure it's 18 time right here. So this is November 23rd, 2022. 10 days after the murder. Sage, the guy that you just heard, him and his dad, Kane, Sage and Kane, run and own Linda Lane Apartments. They own the Linda Lane footage. He called and told them white sedan, male, blonde, hood up, suspicious. There you go. And then the police from Moscow, they sent one unit, One motherfucking unit, and they are supposedly looking for a mass crazy murdering motherfucker who just brutally killed 4 of their students. White sedan, a male's in it, pops his hood, looks suspicious, and calls it in, and they send 1 unit to the area. And that one special, it's not even the Idaho State Police, it's not your detectives, it's not FBI. It is some beat cop, Steric. And he goes to the area and checks it for 1 minute and 48 seconds. He arrives on location at 5:34 and 27 seconds. He says, unable to locate, as you just heard, at 5:36 and 18 seconds. And we wonder why shit doesn't get solved. One unit. And there's no car there. That means the car drove somewhere else, right? So drive around the fucking area. There's your town is all over every major news station on November 23rd, 2022. And we'll go check this out. Well, that tells me it seems like you already have your perpetrator, you already have your suspect, doesn't it? That's what it tells me. And if I'm Ann Taylor, that's exactly how I'm using this. And if she doesn't use it, I think shame on her, because you clearly think that you have your person already. I mean, how would this not be the guy that I could see if the guy that called this in was some stoner freak that doesn't know his ass from the hole in the wall because he's so blasted. This is the guy that just handed you the Linda Lane footage. He knows what y'all are looking for. Okay. And you're looking for a white sedan, and none of the public knows that yet. This guy knows that you're looking for a white sedan, a guy, suspicious in a white sedan. He mentions to say he has his hood up. And you don't go, and you just send like nothing to see here. Well, I think that means that you already have your perpetrator. And that would be November 23rd, 2022. This was not important for you. Meanwhile, you have Kaylee's dad literally all over the news stations down there saying, what the fuck? And these are the calls that are coming in, and they didn't even go look. Unbelievable. This guy had blonde hair, so I didn't want to look for him. I just think, I mean, and how about this cop not calling back in and saying, hey, this car isn't in the area like where I'm at here, but isn't that what we're looking for? Is a white sedan? Like, or, should we let the detectives know about this? I mean, are you guys going to work and just living in a bubble when you go to work? Like, but see, these are the type of guys that eventually get promoted to be detectives. This guy that looked for 1 minute and 48 seconds for a white sedan on November 23rd, 2022 was a suspicious person after 4 people were just brutally stabbed to death on their campus. These are the type of people that we make detectives. Awesome. I don't even know whose names these are anymore. Gifted 5 to the transparency memberships. Change YouTube. I hate you. Again, give a shout out to Christy Nevada. You guys can check all of these videos out in their entirety on her channel. Cheers to Christy. Cheers. If one of the mods could drop her link in chat, that's perfection. Kevin, Mary, look at him. Twiz, what are you doing? What you up to? Someone send these body cams. Fuck these body cams at this point. I think that you need to ask why they weren't interested in I don't know, writing down this Sage. Sage is also, how do we know that Sage isn't like going over there by, hey, call this in and say that the car's over here. Get these people to focus over here instead of, who knows? I mean, wow, what are the odds that the guy that gives the Linda Lane footage up, he also, did he call in like every time he saw a white sedan? I would think this is pretty big because nobody knew about it at that time. Nobody knew about it. And where this was called in is literally on the street that Molly McMichael, the fucking driver for the Dasher. That's where he calls us in at. So there's like 3 parts to it. Nobody knows that anybody's looking for a white sedan. The Linda Lane camera footage was turned in by the same guy that called it in. And then Molly McMichael is the DoorDasher and she lives on Garfield. I mean, what? And then Hippler would probably say, God damn it, that is fucking pure rank speculation, Lana. And I'm going to be like, so is Amazon, bitch. Like, get out of here. That is rank speculation, man. No, you don't know what's not rank speculation is the fact that when the police sent one guy there and he looked for 1 minute and 48 seconds. That's not speculation. It's actually right here in this lovely printout. When you were sent and when you arrived and when you were radioed in. And here's the phone call. Okay. So no, speculation, my titties, Hippler. Okay. It's not speculation to see that they were not interested in this. They were not interested in this shit. And why wouldn't you be? If you say that you're having debriefings morning, noon, and night, basically, and yet none of your beat cops who are driving the area know that a white sedan's probably important, and maybe you should look around for more than 1 minute and 48 seconds. But you weren't interested in looking for other people, were you? Because you guys already had your man, right? That's how you'd be handling that if you're an attorney. And at least that's what I'd be wanting my attorney to do. Especially if you're saying that they picked him. I agree. Hippler's over here saying, listen, anybody that does not drive a white car in Moscow, you guys will never be charged or never be considered a suspect for these homicides, according to Hippler. Because unless you have a white sedan specifically, and you know what's crazy is that he says that it's a Honda Elantra. Dude, there's 7 possibilities. There's 7 different combinations. And if you don't have a white vehicle, you are you're good. You're golden. Absurd. Absolutely absurd. Again, thank you so much. 5 memberships out. A new member here. Is it Abigail? Or a big Big Lil, sorry. You guys, sorry about that. Jen gave out 10. Male. I don't male. Oh shit, that's funny. Sorry, inside joke. Next up is it Gia? Super sticker baby, $4.99. Thank you so much, Gia. Here, you guys ever watched the movie Gia with Angelina Jolie? I bet you Brad Pitt wishes he never saw that movie. Green Bananas, Robin, Nelly. Yes. Mom B, happy to support. Thank you. Sue. William, Cyber Ninja new member. I swear, Cyber Ninja, you're always becoming a new member, but you're always a member. So I'm so confused. But thank you for becoming a new member every day. Hippler sucks. Sorry, not sorry. Why be so nosy? Donna, $20 super sticker. Thank you so much. Miss Potts, she's probably driving around looking for Molly person. Welcome new subs. What's up, Yuri? What's good in the hood? Megastar. Hippler should be God, these feminine. I feel exposed with YouTube changing my name. I know, right? Who the hell do they think they are? Let's see what else I wanted to talk about. All right, so Hippler basically says that, like here, presentation of the proffered alternative perpetrator evidence would pose a great threat of confusing the issues because it would force the state to defend against a nebulous allegation that perhaps these individuals were involved. We're going to read some more of this. It would force the state to have to defend. The only person whose actions are on trial committed the charged crimes. It also presents a threat of unfair prejudice, as it would invite the jury to blame unrepresentative persons for a heinous crime when there is not a there's no evidence, centennial of competent evidence connecting them to the crime. Finally, it would do nothing more than waste the precious time of the jury and the court in what is already scheduled to be a 3-month trial. Nonetheless, the court's ruling does not preclude the defendant from confronting and cross-examining the state's law enforcement witnesses regarding their thoroughness of the investigation. Ding, ding, ding. This needs to be pointed out. The same guy that handed you Linda Lane, he clearly had been watching that footage. He knows what he was looking for. He saw a white sedan with a man with a hood, blonde hair, and you guys didn't even flinch. Particularly in following up on and ruling out leads. Indeed, the Idaho Courts of Appeals recently found in an unpublished opinion that questioning a detective about failing to follow up on other plausible leads was relevant to alternative perpetrator analysis. In quotes, we agree with Emerson that a relevant line of inquiry would be to question the scope and breadth of the investigation and to explore on cross-examination whether plausible investigative leads about third parties were ignored or overlooked. So that's good for if you're a defense attorney. It further stated that this line of questioning may not include inquiries about the investigation of specific third parties absent satisfying Meister, which is, while evidence challenging the thoroughness and reliability of the investigation might be probative, questioning whether law enforcement investigated specific individuals with no connection to the murder provided no probative evidence. Basically, you can't ask somebody on the stand, and Taylor can't say, well, did you look at, Bob Smith as a potential suspect in this case? Moreover, with no connection between the evidence and the crime, there is no explanation or justification for the questioning, and it would not help the jury answer the only question in the case, which is whether Emerson killed James in that case. And I personally think that this is going to help that it was denied, just like it was denied in Karen Reed's case. Focus on reasonable doubt. Focus on that investigation. Okay? Focus on that investigation. And when you point out all of these things that they didn't do, that a reasonable person while sitting in that chair is like, why the fuck wouldn't they do that? The court will apply these same parameters at trial regarding defendant's cross-examination of law enforcement. He may inquire as to the reasonableness of the investigation, including investigating and ruling out other leads. He is not, however, permitted to question law enforcement about the investigation of any specific individual as a potential alternate perpetrator without first raising the matter with the court outside the jury's presence. So now our boy Hippler made an announcement that, hey, guess what? I am going to allow this high profile case that he doesn't really think is that high profile, but I'm going to allow this to be a little bit longer to seat a jury. Like, that's what I'm going to give you guys. Okay. So I want to go back to the way that he's saying that he's conducting the voir dire. Is, I get that you're giving more time, but is that changing the format? So in order to understand again, let's take a look at this format. Where's our girl Janelle? Oh. So give it up. There you go. Christy, Nevada. See? Give some shout outs, give some loves, go over there, like the video, subscribe, do all that things if it's your cup of tea. Again, I don't tell people what to do. I just give them the option. Like, you could thumbs something up, you could thumbs something down. There you go. I want to pull up, though, and point out. I guess Core TV did a new little piece. There we go.
I'm Vinny Politan. The subject of my investigation is the next huge trial here on Core TV, the murders of 4 University of Idaho students. A case that started with a manhunt and is now a death penalty trial. Here's the story. Far from over.
Oh, for fuck. Oh, for fuck of us. Okay, what's his first question?
Now, they believe they know who did it. They've charged him with the 4 murders in this case. Now, they also believe this is what the weapon is that I'm holding in my hand. This is the same exact weapon that's been described. And the reason they believe they know what it is that the sheath that is holding this knife, this K-bar knife, was found at the scene. And that is the crucial piece of evidence, the DNA that they say they found on the snap here. But as I hold this, I don't even want to unbutton this and look at the knife. I can feel how heavy it is. But just to know that someone used something just like this to take those 4 lives in such a brutal, brutal way with a weapon like this.
It's fucking horrible.
And that brings us to the first question in our investigation tonight. It's about the knife. Where's the murder weapon? They don't have the murder weapon. You know the defense is going to make that a big part of their case. Where could it be? Here to help answer this question, former homicide detective Chris McDonough. He's also the host of The Interview Room with Chris McDonough, and retired FBI agent Stuart Fillmore. You can find him on all platforms as Texas Crime Travelers. Thank you both for being here. This is
Also on the show here is Lana Oriani from Truth and Transparency. Will chime in and answer the questions that are posed. Good to be with you guys. How you doing, Chris? How you doing? I didn't catch your name, but what's up?
not an easy question, right? Chris, what are your thoughts about where this weapon could be?
Long gone, Vinny. Long gone. Whoever it belonged to. Definitely long gone. Hence why the department or any of the departments don't have it. Long gone.
Well, Vinny, I think the first thing that we need to consider is, how important that weapon was to the offender. And that will help us determine whether or not the offender would have discarded it after.
Well, it was bought on Amazon, Chris. Allegedly bought on Amazon.
The crime. And in this particular case, we have evidence, obviously, that he had gone back into Amazon and actually put a duplicate knife into.
What? Do you understand what the question was? Do you understand what the question was? The question was, where's the knife? What? I would like objection. I would like to strike everything that he's saying as non-responsive. I mean, do people listen? The question was, where's the knife? I mean, I get it. Nancy Grace doesn't let you talk, Chris. And so you come on Vinny's show. You're like, oh my God, I get to talk? Woo, here I am. Let me talk. Wow. Okay. Stop going on Nancy Grace's show. But the guy asked you a question, which is, where's the knife? Where's the knife?
The cart, but he didn't make the purchase. So that may give us a little insight into what he was thinking post-homicide. So he could have tossed it out, kind of like, Bundy did back in the day, because we have evidence that he was cosplaying Bundy with photographs, obviously, on his phone.
Listen to this man. Though, I mean, I would love the opportunity to only, after he would speak, is to say, well, Vinny, to answer the question, which was, where's the knife? As I look that way. Or I could say, Vinny, can you repeat the question? Because his answer, whoa. What was your question again? It was, where's the knife? Okay. Well, clearly not with law enforcement.
But it's
long gone.
Probably alongside of a rotor in the Snake River.
The Snake River. So
that was your answer. It's probably somewhere along the side of the road. So somebody that commits this ridiculous, disgusting crime. I'm just going to whip it out on the side of the road. Perfect.
That would be a tough one to recover from. Stuart Fillmore, what are your thoughts about, it seemed that if you believe the prosecution's version and you believe this is the suspect, there was some level of planning in all of this.
Thank you, Vinny.
And I guess part of the plan has to be, what do you do with the clothing? What do you do with...
Thank you, Vinny. Thank you, Vinny. And I think Vinny was like, I cannot believe that Chris McDonough answered my question like that. So I guess I'm going to have to explain, exactly, Vinny. I don't think that this guy just threw out on the side of the road there'd be a knife, but I mean, Chris McDonough, investigative, woo. That's where I would think it would be, on the side of the road. Whipping it out on the side of the road. With my bare hands, to then leave all of my juices all over it.
Some of the evidence afterwards, but specifically the alleged murder weapon in all of this. What are your thoughts, and how much time would you invest in a case like this in trying to find it?
I mean, at this point in the case, it's really all you're lacking. Well, you don't have motive, but you don't have to have motive.
Well, in Hitler's courtroom, it looks like you do.
The murder weapon, you have the sheath and then he's the Amazon attempted purchase. I mean, that's pretty compelling stuff there. But man, this would absolutely put this over the top if you could recover this weapon.
Yep, sure would.
When we talk about that area of the country,
So I would say if these officers have his data and his phone data, you have all these people, you have 120 people. I would expect some searches, and but then again, if you go out and you do these searches and you come up with nothing, they're going to write reports about that. And then the defense is going to be able to use that. Like, you went out and searched all these places that you said my client went to, or the path that he drove. And you did all these searches and you found nothing, right? So is that a downfall to not going and searching at all? Can it be used against you, saying that you didn't find it?
Chris, it's very rural. Parts of it are. And we've had Cody Thomas drive those roads. We're going to talk to him a little bit later in the program about that. But it just seems like there's a lot of places that it could disappear. But it also seems that everyone out there, if they came across a knife, would likely call police because this is such a high-profile case.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And because it is, so damning, that type of evidence, I think the citizens would 100% turn it in. And which leads us to this other thought process. Does he have this, hidden someplace? Did he take it back to Pennsylvania, or did he discard it? I agree with Stuart 1,000%. It's good. If you had that piece of evidence, then, it's a slam dunk at that point.
What's interesting, Chris, you just raised something I didn't even think of, Stuart. The fact that he's from Pennsylvania, drove across the country to go back home. That's ultimately where he got arrested. So the search for this murder weapon could not only be, in the places he may have gone afterwards, but it could be anywhere from Pullman, Washington to Pennsylvania.
Okay, so for me, I would be looking at taking all of his data where he would normally go and what he was familiar with and comfortable with, and looking through his data from June until the day of actually the homicides, and seeing if there was places that he went repetitively, and I'd be looking at those places. You could use his data prior to see if there's places you want to search. Yeah. Traveling across country in it and with his dad. I don't know about that.
Absolutely, but I think maybe we might look a little closer. For whatever reason, he was prone to getting stopped by the cops. And if he planned this out and he's trying to be this, he's trying to maybe recreate some of Ted Bundy's successes, or not successes, that's the wrong term, but he's basically trying to recreate being Ted Bundy. And he knows that he gets stopped all the time, especially at 4 o'clock in the morning. A car's going to stand out in a small town like that. You have a greater chance of getting stopped. I think there's a good chance he wanted to get rid of that as quickly as possible, and that was probably part of his plan. We know that the phone was off. The phone goes on at 4:48. He left the Kings Road house at 4:20. So there's 28 minutes unaccounted for. And when that first cell tower picks him up at 4:48, he's just south of the Blaine, Idaho tower. So that tells me he's probably on 95 somewhere. And the rest of the times that he hits the cell towers and the videos, it pretty much is consistent that he drove south on 95 and came back to Pullman on 195. So it's that 28 minutes after the 4:20 time, when possibly he could have dumped the knife somewhere, maybe even buried it, and then you have to also consider the next day he drives all the way down to Clarkston, Washington, and on the way down there he goes by that same intersection of 95 and 195, which, by the way, there's an overpass there that looks over, I think it's called the Lewiston Overpass, and this guy had studied previous crimes. In the Manson killings, the killers threw their weapons over a cliff, on a roadside cliff. Maybe he studied how killers have gotten away and done their cases. Maybe he's trying to recreate a little bit of the Manson thing and threw it off that cliff in Lewiston.
Yeah, it's the defense will make a big deal that they don't have the murder weapon. And
all right, who sounded more like they had it together there? I'm going to say the guy on the right of the screen. Okay, made way more sense, Anyways. Coming soon.
Just happened to be in that house.
Kelly's father, Steve Gonzalez, what a pillar of strength he has been throughout this. Really. We've learned the names of 7 potential prosecution witnesses in the trial, but they're not out in Idaho. They're in Pennsylvania, where the suspect is from. There's going to be at least 2 hearings to decide whether or not they're going to need to travel from Pennsylvania to Idaho to testify. And that first hearing is set for Monday, June 30th. And that brings us to the next question in our investigation. What information could the out-of-state witnesses provide in this trial? Let's bring in Court TV field reporter Cody Thomas to get some more information here. Cody, I know you've been looking at this. What do we know about these potential witnesses?
Well, Vinny, 7 witnesses out of state, all from Kohberger's past in some way, shape, form, or fashion, supposed to be attending his hearing on June 30th. So we'll start with the first one, and probably one of the more important guys. His name is William Searfoss. He's a corrections officer at the Monroe County Jail, where Kohberger was held after his arrest at his family's home in eastern Pennsylvania in December of 2022. Now, this was before his extradition to Idaho. Now, reports have stated that Kohberger was on suicide watch while
William is a corrections officer. Isn't he the one that came out and did the video? What? Interesting.
held at that jail. But aside from that, police say his stay was relatively uneventful as he was held in isolation. Then, Vinny, we move on to Jesse Harris. Harris owns a boxing gym in Pennsylvania where Kohberger would train some years ago. Moving along to Ann Parham. She's a former high school academic advisor to Kohberger. Then we get to Anthony Sama. Now, reports have shown that a Facebook profile under the same name belonged to a graduate of the Monroe Career and Technical Institute. Now, Kohberger also attended that school for a youth law enforcement program, but administrators reportedly kicked him out after complaints from female classmates. The last three, Vinny, we have Ralph Vecchio, worked at an auto shop that Kohberger frequently went to back home in Pennsylvania. Then we have Brandon Andrew.
Wait a second. You think Ann Taylor is calling to the stand?
Administrators reportedly kicked him out after complaints from female classmates. The last three, Vinny, we have Ralph Vecchio, worked at an auto shop that Kohberger frequently went to back home in Pennsylvania. Then we have Brandon Andriola.
Wait a second. Brian Kohberger just would show up at some random fucking auto shop where they sell used cars and shit like that. You just randomly show up there and just hang out there.
Now he's replacing a woman named Michelle Bolger, one of Kohberger's former professors at DeSales University, who was initially scheduled to be included as a prosecution witness, but there are no immediate links between Andriola and DeSales, and his relationship to Kohberger is unclear. And lastly, Benny, the seventh one, Maggie Sanders, her relationship to Kohberger also remains unclear, but
these are prosecution witnesses. Wow. Oh boy.
Jesse Harris. Harris owns a boxing gym in Pennsylvania where Kohberger would train some years ago. Moving along to Ann Parham. She's a former high school academic advisor to Kohberger. Then we get to Anthony Sama. Now, reports have shown that a Facebook profile under the same name belonged to a graduate of the Monroe Career and Technical Institute. Now, Kohberger also attended that school for a youth law enforcement program, but administrators reportedly kicked him out after complaints from female classmates. The last three, Vinny, we have Ralph Vecchio, worked at an auto shop that Kohberger frequently went to back home in Pennsylvania. Then we have Brandon Andriola. Now he's replacing a woman named Michelle Bolger, one of Kohberger's former professors at DeSales University, who was initially scheduled to be included as a prosecution witness, but there are no immediate links between Andriola and DeSales, and his relationship to Kohberger is unclear. And lastly, Vinny, the seventh one, Maggie Sanders, her relationship to Kohberger also remains unclear, but she was initially scheduled to appear with the other witnesses at this June 30th hearing, but hers has been delayed to July 7th. Now, Vinny, of course, each of these witnesses will have a chance at these hearings to explain why they should not be compelled to testify in this, for them, out-of-state trial.
All right, Cody, we'll check back in with you in just a bit. Still with us to help us through all this, Chris McDonough and Stuart Fillmore, a corrections officer, boxing gym owner, academic advisor, technical institute. Seems may have been a classmate. The guy owns the auto shop and a professor. What are you hearing, Stuart? What do you think some of these out-of-state witnesses could provide for the prosecution and in terms of evidence?
Wait.
Yeah, Vinny, like we mentioned in the previous segment, one of the things that we don't have in this case really is motive. I mean, there's a lot of speculation about it. We have the probable cause affidavit that gives us a lot of forensic details, but very little about Brian Kohberger himself and why, if he did this, why did he do it? So I think what these Pennsylvania witnesses are is to help paint a picture and let's see some patterns in his past and some things. No doubt, I think they probably have some folks that have developed a profile of him, and I think that's what these witnesses will support.
Chris McDonough, what are your thoughts? Corrections officer, boxing gym owner, academic advisor, classmate from the Technical Institute.
Guys, I'm so confused here. I thought that Brian Culver was calling these people. I'm gonna call a friend. I'm gonna phone a friend here. Okay, give a shout out to LaDonna, $20, baby. Melissa, $2, holla girl. Jacob the Jula, $20. Oh my gosh. This is gonna give me a good chuckle here. You guys, why is Court TV under the impression that the prosecution's calling them? These are defense witnesses, aren't they? I mean, maybe I am need to get back to bed, but I'm just gonna call Monroe. Monroe, baby. What forensic details? Oh my god. Vinny, who are you having on your show, man? Forensic details, my ass. Co-bugger pimping my ass. Incel my ass. Oh my god. Oh, let's hear what they have to say about these prosecutions.
Auto shop and another professor. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, Homicide 101. You do want to create that.
Homicide 101, guys. Let's get our fucking pens out. Homicide 101 with Chris. What you got for me, Daddy?
Pattern of life evidence. Remember, there's two sides of this coin here. You not only want to do what they call a victimology, you want to do a suspectology, and that's what's going on here. They went out, they talked to all of these folks to try to understand, if you want to understand a hunter, you have to know where he used to hunt. And so you've got to get those pattern of life pieces put together.
It's fascinating. A boxing gym owner. I wonder if he was training. I mean, could that be part of this, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to, what's his thought process, right? I mean, he wanted to be a cop. Was he training, to, as this would be some type of self-defense, class or something to that effect? And then, of course, you've got the opposite side of that. Remember, he had a narcotics problem. Maybe some of these witnesses are going to present information that would give you a better understanding of that situation if in fact, he's our guy.
What are they
Stuart,
talking
the auto
about?
shop guy, do you think that could just be about his car or something further?
Vinny, all we can do is speculate. I mean, again, I think these are folks that the authorities have talked to that clearly have something relevant to this that I think is going to add to this profile, this suspectology, as Chris said, that will give us that further picture and hopefully answer that question. Maybe why did he do this? And it can come from anywhere. So who knows exactly why the mechanic would be relevant in this, but you have to be thorough, and that's what this is. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, why did he do this? Next witness call the stand. How do you know Mr. Koberger? I was his guidance counselor in high school. I probably saw him twice. You guys, what the fuck this is Tina with What the Fuck Translation Services. So how old was he when you knew him? 16, 17 years old. And okay, so 12 years. Did you keep in contact with him? No, I don't know. I'm sorry, but we have so many kids going in and out of that school. So he didn't stick out to you. You didn't have any issues with him, right? He wasn't like, this is a bad kid. You need to keep our eyes on him, right? No, we did not know Brian Koberger. He was just there. You guys, Court TV is under the impression that these people were all subpoenaed by the prosecution. And so I don't think that's correct. And we have spectology now. So I want a new teacher that says suspectology, right? Suspectology. I'm starting a new band. Suspectology. Let's see what the definition says about suspectology. Suspectology, right? Find suspectology. Okay. Suspectology refers to the study of suspect behavior, often in the context of criminal investigations. It involves analyzing pre-offense, during the offense, and post-offense actions to understand how suspects might behave, how they might interact and react to questioning, and how to develop investigative strategies. So these would have been people that they would have talked to immediately after upon arrest, right? So we do have suspectology, and it is 101 with Chris McDonough. So these fields draw on various disciplines, including psychology, criminology, and behavioral analysis to help identify and understand potential suspects. So this is used to help identify potential suspects. So you use suspectology in many aspects and phases. So the behavioral analysis, the pre-offense behavior, the peri-offense behavior, post-offense behavior, suspect profiling, eyewitness identification, legal framework, get it all in there. Just go ahead and Google it. Now, we just want to know, let's ask, what's her name? Anne? What the Idaho4 witness Kohlberger case. The other witnesses include Anne Farm, an advisor of the high school Kohlberger attended, Ralph. I want to just call Ralph. And can I just say, Ralph, I'm not going to ask you any questions. I just want to know who subpoenaed you. Who wants you there? What? Shortly after his arrest, reports emerged that Kohlberger had shouted at and threatened guards at the Monroe County Correctional Facility. Claims Warden Gary Hadel said were not true, according to a report in the Idaho Statesman. Idaho Statesman's getting called out here. Holy shitballs. Kohlberger was held in isolation, and his stay was quote-unquote uneventful, he told the paper. Kohlberger had attended the school for a youth law enforcement program. Administrators reportedly kicked him out after complaints from female classmates. Who? It is not immediately clear whether it was the prosecution or the defense that is seeking to compel either man's testimony.
Seeing in it.
Stuart, let me ask you, when this was a manhunt, we didn't know who would be arrested or who the suspect was. Then we found out who he is, and we found out a little bit more about him. Were you surprised that it was somebody like this? Is this what you were expecting?
I guess I'm kind of blank on what I might have been expecting in this case. My first impression I'm kind of blank on what I might have been expecting in this.
Wait a second.
I guess I really.
I think on that page, I think right here, I think one of these people is Nick Balance.
I'm kind of blank on what I might have been expecting in this case. My first impression when I heard about the case and really looked at the details of it was, is this a situation, where he didn't really have any connection that we know of yet with the victims, in his background, wanting to be a cop and studying criminal justice? Is this like a Leopold and Loeb thing from the 20s in Chicago, where these two rich guys thought they could commit the perfect crime and could get away with it. That was my first thought on this, so that is a possible motivation here. But I could be wrong, probably wrong on that. But that was my first impression.
Chris, were you surprised by who ended up getting arrested here? The type of guy that he is?
I wasn't surprised in totality because I had a colleague, Dr. Garbacato. We talked about this for hours, and he nailed the personality type that would present itself, and Brian Koberger fit. So, no, to answer your question, Vinny.
All right, big thanks, Stuart Fillmore, Chris McDonough. This is going to be a long trial. We're going to be calling you to come on again and
ask him a tough question, which is the delay in the 911 call and what transpired and how difficult that's going to be for the prosecution to overcome. I want to hear some tough questions. These softball questions are just fucking boring, man. It's just boring. It's so boring. Boring question.
Few times, and at one point sees a man with bushy eyebrows walking past her room, and this time leaving at a high rate of speed.
Leaving at a high rate of speed. The suspect getting into that white Elantra and
Vinny,
taking
the suspect doesn't get into the white Elantra. You don't see that. That's being alleged.
Off. And that brings us to the next question in our investigation. Where did the suspect allegedly go after the murder?
For fuck's sake. Horrible. I'm done. Yeah. Yeah, no thanks. All right. I want to keep this right around 2.5 hours. I'll be having another one later on today. I'll be putting out a really quick snippet of the 11/23/2022 report, report taken incident. That is something that I think Ann Taylor should take a look at. They were not interested in looking for a white sedan with a suspicious person that's sitting in a car with a hood from the Linda Lane owner that provided the information, who would have known what law enforcement was looking for. Blows my mind. Just one thing comes to mind is that you already have your mind. That's not like you don't care about that. It has nothing to do with it. You're not even thinking that it has anything to do with it because why? Tunnel vision over here, or we already have our guy. That's what that tells me. But yeah, Brian Kohlberg's name wasn't said until the 19th. So if you're a defense attorney, you would definitely be interested in that material. So I'm sure she already has it, because if you were going through the incident reports and how they were labeled, there's no way that you could miss it. So I guarantee you Ann has that. All right. Take care, guys. We'll see you back on the flip side. Thank you so much, moderators, super chatters. Remember, we have the missing person coming up, the drug bust, and a stolen vehicle. See you soon.